Howdy y'all, welcome back to the Beast Studio. I brought you in here just for wind control. It's been windy the last couple days. I've attempted to do this video outside. Just hasn't quite worked out. So hopefully you'll enjoy. I do have a new light in here. I got a diffuser, slightly different color bulb, so let me know if it's a little bit more enjoyable. This camera decides to come in and out of its sort of auto white balance sometimes, I've noticed when I'm in here, and so I don't really enjoy doing the videos too much in here, but here we go. Today's video on the first aid kit, the Ifak, slightly modified AMP3 kit of what I carried for Wildland, and I thought this would pull into a separate section. One, I've gotten a couple emails, PMs, that wanted to know what I did to my AMP3 kit for Wildland, and it really should just be its own video. So, without further ado, you will notice that I picked up the MOLLE pouch that they have available. The patch that I went with I got from Zantac Tactical, and this is just their medic pouch that goes onto the Velcro strip. That was not included. And then yeah, I mean, it's held up well. As you can see, it's not quite as bright red as it used to be. It's covered in a little bit of ash and stuff. For the most part, this was carried inside my pack, but quite often I had it on the outside just for room and organization and the way I had things going. The back, they do include their own straps. They're sort of a friction fit. You just sort of tuck them on under the last one, depending on how many MOLLE loops you're going in. Had no issues with the stitching. I mean, like I said, other than being a little dirtier, it's no worse for the wear. The Made in Vietnam is actually part of the Blackhawk patch, so that's not actually. I don't want you to think that's part of the MOLLE bag. Pretty much, I carry this, I would say, almost every day. I think there's only 2 occasions where I decided not to carry this. And it was very surprising with 2 different hand crews, 2 different people, both a man and a woman at 2 different occasions that were our assigned medics within our own team. You know, they didn't even have a kit with them. And I found that very disturbing. And, you know, when you're dealing with chainsaws, you know, if you're a swamper, you're the guy standing right behind the guy with the chainsaw pulling the branches out. And with a hand crew, you're already automatically pretty much in an area where trucks can't get to, because otherwise you'd have engines and other things in that area. You know, you're in inaccessible areas at least a mile or so before you can get to a vehicle to get extricated out with help. So will this solve everything in here? No. I think I've got a pretty good, well-balanced you know, attack of things that I've added in here. A few things are added. Most of it is just the standard AMP3 Ifak. And without further ado, we'll just get into it. I did like the fact that the AMP kit leaves a lot of room in here. The AMP3 basic Ifak leaves a lot of room for modifying, adding other things. And you know, on top you still have the gloves. I actually have a bigger Co-Flex, Co-Band, the self-adhesive sort of stretchy material. This is just the vet wrap, basically in black. Got a bigger band in there. You know, a lot of these things in here, I might find that I need to refill. You know, because I was the only one that had a first aid kit. You know, this is the one that got used, and so pull out. Here's the basic Ifak. And I've got a few other things in here. In the back, I have the separate Right in the Rain. With a pencil in there. In there I also have, there's the Quick Clot, which I already had. I already had the SWAT T tourniquet, which is very invaluable, especially standard, than much better than a standard tourniquet. A whole lot more uses for this guy than just a straight up tourniquet. And then instead of the Israeli that I believe Doc and Carl offer, I went with the Oleus bandage. I just think it has a few more features in it. The size is nice, and just that's my blood stopper that I decided to go with my bandage. And then the only other thing in there there is a little drain hole if you didn't know. Is this also where I kept my my chem sticks? This one here is the cheapy 12-hour, and then I have 2 30-minute high vis white, and these are 2 5-minute basically super high power red. and are basically more of an orange. That's just the color they come out. A couple reasons I left this in the first aid kit. And also a little side note, a lot of you guys, if you are reading survival manuals and you go to try the old signaling for help with a glow stick or swinging it on the end of a stick, it was the idea originated in the military, but it was never meant for these dimmer 12-hour units. You really need to get yourself some of these 5-minute high powers, or even, you know, the 30-minute I haven't noticed a huge difference with. These still last longer than 5 minutes, and these are really only super bright for about 5 minutes. So really it doesn't matter if the price is the same, or it's a little bit cheaper deal with the 30-minute. Go ahead and get the 30-minute. The 5-minute, they are nice. They're built a little bit bigger, but they definitely last more than 5 minutes. So if the price isn't an issue, go with the 5-minute super high power Viz. But these are the ones you really want in your kit if you're trying to signal, because they're so much more intense. They only last for, you know, about 10-15 minutes, honestly, before they start going dim. But these are the ones that you use for signaling, along with many other ideas. We use them for signaling hotspots and snags and all sorts of stuff during the night, as well as you could signal, you know, locate a casualty if you have to leave to go get help. It's easy to find. I think that's pretty much it. We'll just jump right in here to the Ifak. Some of these are replaced. This little Coban I did replace, like I said. This is slightly different tape. I really like the tape Doc and Carl use. It's like a silk tape. One of the things I found, I replaced it because I didn't find one quite like this. Is 3M Durapore. I think they just call it tough tape in the medical section. But the silk tape he offers in his kit, one thing I noticed, as you can see there's still a little bit of healing here, is for hot spots. When you go to tape them, not only does it add a little bit of abrasion resistance, but it also soaks up any bodily fluids that's excreting from said hotspot, if that makes sense. So I really enjoyed his tape. I will have to get a refill from the AMP folks on the tape, definitely. The med kits. Now, one thing obviously Doc and Carl can't do with something that they're selling, but one thing I advise you to do, as long as you can keep everything straight, is I take everything out of the packages. Obviously it allows me to keep more things. I've got more items than the initial list. Here's some loperamide for basically diarrhea. Here's his mescaline, I'm saying that wrong, which is basically his nausea and vomiting. I still have the original 2 mitigators. Did not need those, although it was stung by a bee, and it was good to find out I was not allergic. Ibuprofen, standard Benadryl, sorry guys, battery died, didn't realize it. Allegra, allergy medicine basically, but this is 24-hour non-drowsy. This is kind of what I was taking at the time, and so it was already in my system, so if I was getting more allergies I kind of wanted to take that beyond the standard Benadryl stuff. This was stuff that I could easily hand out, and it has other purposes. 4 little aspirin. There's a Zantac. Both those were included in the Ifak. A couple different various acetaminophen, and then these are just throat lozenges. They're Fisherman's Friend. I enjoy them. They don't have a whole lot of sugar to them, and certainly, you know, depending on how much hotline you do, you get a little bit of smoke and cough, and it's just nice to have a little throat lozenge. One thing I did add, one was for the allergies in my eyes. This has a little bit more than just your standard eye solution in here. This is one of the sealed ones I had extra that I brought in, and an eye cup I added, especially the dust, the smoke, wood chips. There's all sorts of potential, you know, eye injuries and eye debris. This has been replaced many times, the little duct tape thing in there. He does have a small card in there. I've added a little bit more duct tape. I don't think anything else was really added into there other than the duct tape module. A few things I need to add, a few more antibiotics and a few band-aids in there that got used. Onto this little wound care kit, I did add a little Sam finger splint on the back side here. This is his irrigation cup module that has the iodine. I did not have a use for that. I did have a use for the benzoine. And these two were from a different kit. This is not the same brand that he offered. I used these to refill the ones I used. And you'll see in another video, I actually built just a separate foot care unit that has a bigger thing of benzoine in there, so I would not go through these little tinctures quite as much. Benzoine is just, hands down, it's fantastic for keeping bandages and wounds and things closed and taped up, and especially foot injuries. You've got hot spots, you've got blisters, and you really need to keep your foot in there, especially with stiff leather boots that you have in wildfire. They're not quite as forgiving with keeping duct tape on your feet, let alone the sweating and stuff, so you really need all the help you can get keeping duct tape and bandages and any sort of other blister care on there. Benzoine does a good job for any sort of serious liquid adhesive. This is Masticol or Mastisol. These are a little bit more expensive. I understand that's why. I'm sure that something like this is not in Doc's kit. I believe these were probably $8 per ampule. You can get larger quantities of this. This is basically a medical grade adhesive. This is what they'll do at the doctors, especially if you've got something that they're just going to bandage up, and you can shower with it. It'll stay on for about 3 or 4 days, and it's very handy stuff. The little, basically, super glue called Liquid Skin. I did see those at another place where I might pick up a few extras, and that was what I added on to the wound care module. Toolkit, something that got a lot of use in here. A couple things I added real quick was just wasn't sure I was going to need it. Added in a little pair of these guys for the size and weight. Kept the scissors. I did add in one of Doc's favorites is let me get this out of here. They do have the Uncle Bill's sort of wider tipped tweezers in there. I, like Doc, really enjoy the fine tip ability of the REI ones, and so I've got that guy in there. And I believe that's most of my modifications. This guy's still holding up. Getting a little trashed, but luckily we had no serious injuries. All this stuff is, for the most part, the original kit. I did use some of the non-adherent bandages, so some of those are not the brand he put in there. Did not need the Tegaderm or anything else. So luckily, we were injury-free. Those are the modifications I made to the AMP3 kit, with a little bit more firepower, a little bit more blood stopper. Like I said, when you've got guys around chainsaws, guys, feet away from chainsaws, you've got huge limbs, snags, there's all sorts of hazards in wildland fire. And it was really kind of an eye-opener to realize that, don't trust that because you have a medic in your group that he's going to carry a kit. So hopefully something I could even carry in my kit that I'm not proficient at, and having a medic in the group, certainly would help, and give him the tools he needs that maybe aren't, a couple miles away in a truck, or at least to a flat spot where you can get heloed out. That's it. I'll keep this short and sweet. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Always love your comments, and thanks for watching.